Hi everyone, my name's Nayobé. I'm the founder of Piece by Piece and your Miss Voluptuous Suriname 2025. Um, Piece by Piece is a platform created to help young people explore their identity and use their voice to make a real difference in today's society. And each episode, we speak to inspiring individuals who are turning their personal puzzle pieces, meaning their stories, their values, and their experiences, into action. Whether you're just getting started or looking to grow your advocacy, you're right here in the right place. Okay, so today I am joined by Nijeria, Miss Voluptuous USA South, a seasoned queen, sexual therapist, and advocate for her platform Unapologetically Desirable, which centers plus size Black women embracing their right to be seen as sexually and romantically desirable as they too deserve. So let's call her in. Hello, beautiful. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you today?
I'm definitely good. Thank you so much. Are you ready to start?
Yes, ma'am.
Amazing. Then we're going to dive right into the first segment, which is every piece of you. And this is all about who you are as a person. So, can you introduce yourself to our audience?
Yes, hello everybody. My name is Nigeria Jones, and I'm your Miss Voluptuous USA South 2025. I'm a somatic sex therapist, a advanced Reiki practitioner, a business owner, and so much more, but those are my main titles.
Love that so much. You already mentioned that you are so much more than just a crown, but could you
Yes.
explain your identity in 3 words?
Mm, I would say I am sassy, assertive, sassy, assertive, and confident.
Love those. Oh, that's amazing. I love that so much. And we already noticed that you have your own platform called
Mhm.
Unapologetically Desirable. Could you tell me what unapologetically desirable means to you personally?
Yes, absolutely. So, a smidget of a backstory. I'm a doctoral student as well. So, the desire part of desirable is based on the research I'm going to be doing in the spring for my dissertation. So, being unapologetically desirable to me means that we, as Black women, and especially plus size Black women, are showing up confidently. We're showing up, without any stereotypes or any rules about who we need to be as a person,
Mhm.
and we are just taking up space wherever we're at. So, no matter where we go, we are allowed to be ourselves, we are allowed to be worthy, and we are allowed to be sexy.
Amen to that. I love that so much. And I fully agree with you as a plus size Black woman myself. I love this so much that you're coming up and speaking out about this. That's so wonderful and very inspiring as well. Could you
Thank
tell
you.
me that, well, as a therapist and an advocate, how has your own identity shaped the way that you approach this topic?
Absolutely. So I've always been a plus size Black girl,
Hmm.
and so either I am seen as hyper visible, which means that I'm over sexualized, or I'm seen as hyper invisible, meaning that nobody pays attention to me and that I should be, you know, sexuality less, and so I shouldn't have any type of sexiness or any confidence. And so growing up with both of these things that are not true, it made it really difficult to just navigate through the world. And so here I am as, a child, then a teen, and an adult, trying to figure out who I am as a person, just in general, but also sexuality wise. And I have these two sides pulling at me that are telling me that I can be neither. And
Mm.
so, as a therapist, a lot of the times what I found is that other women, but especially Black women, were having the same experience as me. And so I made it my job to learn all things sexuality based and help young people like myself and women like myself be able to understand that they are sexual beings and they
Mhm.
get to decide what that means to them.
Oh, I love that so much. And it feels like it's actually very needed as well because I have experienced the same thing. And
Mm-hmm.
I love that from your own experiences, you thought, no one is doing this yet, so
Right.
why don't I do it? That's so inspiring. I love that.
Thank you.
Of course. And what's something you wish people would understand about plus size Black women beyond the stereotypes that exist?
Oh my goodness. We are not a monolith. So every Black woman is her own unique individual self, right?
Mhm.
And while we have some shared culture, that doesn't determine who we are going to be as people. And so when you're interacting with us as Black women, see us as such, as this unique
Mhm.
individual who you need to learn as well, rather than
Mhm.
making assumptions.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I'm
Uh-huh.
so glad that someone said this because I am, of course, also a Black woman. But
Mm-hmm.
growing up in the Netherlands, there is this stereotype that Black women are very aggressive, very
Mm-hmm.
out there, and very loud and stuff like that. And yes, I am out there and loud. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
aggressive at all. And
Right.
some people might even call me, well, how do I say this in English? Let me think. Someone who is well, more to like more similar to white people, I guess.
Okay.
I
Uh-huh.
personally don't agree with it either because I'm
Uh-huh.
more than that. I'm just Nayobé, but it's
Right.
so nice of you to say that people need to try and wow, my English is blanking right now.
That's okay. Listen, that's fine.
That people
I
need to get
understand
to
what you're
know you as a
saying.
person is what I'm trying to
Yes.
say.
Yes, exactly. Uh-oh.
Amazing.
My dog's in the background. I don't know if you hear him.
I heard him. He is welcome as well. Let him come in.
Okay, I'm so sorry, everybody. He likes to decide to bark when I'm doing things. Otherwise, he's quiet. So
I love that so much. What kind of dog do you have?
he's a Yorkie. His name is Monte Carlo Canodle. And so he's my little heart. But he
That's
is a
so
menace.
cute. And also so funny because you are a queen and Yorkies of course were the queen's favorite,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's
Mm-hmm.
amazing. Love that. Okay, we're gonna move on because
Okay.
you filled in one of my workbooks, the Purpose Puzzle workbook. And
Yes.
in the TV page, you
Mm-hmm.
said something that stood out to me, and I wanted you to elaborate on it. For everyone who hasn't seen this yet, that page is all about what you see in the world right now and what's something that touches you very dearly. So I wanted to ask you what you wrote down there and if you could elaborate on it.
Absolutely. So shall I read it first?
Whatever you want. You can also just say
Okay.
it.
Okay, so let's see here. It says, so right now, what touches me the most is the way that Black women, especially plus size Black women, are still fighting to be seen as worthy, beautiful, and desirable. My platform, Unapologetically Desirable, directly speaks to this struggle by reclaiming body autonomy, self worth, and visibility in a world that often erases or devalues us. So, I would say across the world, but if I'm speaking to here in America, what we know is that Black women always get the short end of the stick no matter what happens. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter if we're talking about career, if we're talking about education, if we're talking about relationships. We are always seen as someone to put on the back burner or as someone who is not worthy of something. We are seen as second class citizens, if you will. And so, what I would love to do is to help Black women reclaim the spot that we've already had, always had in the world, which is that we are on this amazing playing field with everybody else. You know,
Mhm.
we have the same value as everybody else, and we are worthy of whatever it is we want in this life. We can have
Mhm. Say it louder.
it.
I fully agree with that. And knowing that's something that really touches you dearly. We're going to move on to the next segment of our
Okay,
podcast, which is all about your advocacy and your wishes for it, why you chose it, etc., etc. So,
right.
now that we know the issue that's closest to your heart, could you tell me how you first got involved with this issue and why you chose it as your advocacy?
Oh, absolutely. Well, first and foremost, I'm a Black woman from the South. And so my platform, Unapologetically Desirable, centers the experiences of fat Black women in the South. And so, besides my lived experience, it comes from the fact that all of the research tells us that plus size Black women and Black women in general are really struggling in every avenue of life because of being seen as these people who are not human or who do not have value. And so, as I've been a therapist, as I've been a scholar, as I've been a Black woman myself,
Mm-hmm.
I see firsthand how we are struggling to just find our place in the world, to feel confident, to feel worthy. And so, like we've already said before, there are not many women who are out here doing this work. There's not many Black sex therapists. And so, because of that, I said, let me come on in here and help out with this thing that is so serious and it is happening every day.
Love that. Love that so much. And could you tell me how you stay motivated throughout all of that? Because it's such a personal thing that must also be quite
Mm.
hard and maybe even overwhelming sometimes, right?
Absolutely. I'm going to first say that it's resilience, and I think resilience is something that is in everyone's DNA, but I believe it's especially in Black women's DNA because we've had to be strong for so long. And so just knowing that I'm a Black woman and that I'm surrounded by Black women and that I interact with Black women every day, that right there is enough alone for me to keep going because if we are not standing up for ourselves, if we are not choosing ourselves, who will?
Love that. And is there a specific experience that you got this resilience from?
Oh goodness. So the first thing that pops up in my mind is actually being a young child in elementary school. So like I want to say fourth or fifth grade.
Uh-huh.
And my school for some reason decided that they should have every child line up and have their weight taken in front of everybody.
No.
hmm It was supposed to be like a health day. And so, as everybody's kind of going up and getting their weight taken, the person that was taking the weight was saying it out loud, very loudly. Why, I have no idea. And so when he read my weight out loud, for some reason, the number just stuck with me. And it's not something I had really thought about before,
Mhm.
but it's just the way that he said it. And then the way that all of the other children were either embarrassed with me or were very distraught as well that the number was so big. And so I would
Mhm.
say that is the first time that I had to recognize the multiple pieces of who I am as a person.
Yeah. Ugh, I'm so sorry, first off, that that happened to you. That sucks. As someone who never liked PE myself or like health
Mm-mm.
days or anything like that, I fully feel with you. Um, I once had this experience, well, once. Every year at the start of PE class, our teacher would ask everyone what sport they would do. But I'm asthmatic, so I didn't
Mm-hmm.
do a sport ever. And every
Right.
year again, I would get the same speech from my teacher, how yes, you need to exercise and you would look better if you do exercise, blah 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 in front of the whole class. So I fully feel what you're saying. I still think it's awful that this is still happening in schools right now, and I think it's beautiful that you
Mm-hmm.
are coming out and saying it out loud so people actually know, because some people might never have this experience ever and not know that it's happening. So
Exactly, exactly. And God forbid we just be academics and not be on the sports side. And
right.
everybody is unique.
I fully agree with you. Okay, and could you tell me, as an academic, of course, what the
hmm
biggest myth is about desirability and what that means?
The biggest myth is that desirability is attached to European ideals. And so what I mean by that is that in order for you to be desirable, you have to meet this certain aesthetic, which is usually tall, thin, white, blonde hair, blue eyes, right? Now, of course, those women are also beautiful. We're not going to count anybody out. However, there is beauty in all types of people. And so when we think about Black women in particular, usually we do not even get to be on the leaderboard, if you will, of what is desirable. And so if we look at individuals in culture and what each culture finds to be beautiful, we'll find much more diversity.
Amen. Okay, on to the next one. How does your professional background and the professional world you find yourself in as a therapist support the platform that you have created?
Absolutely. Awesome question. I would say that If I'm being honest, first and foremost, therapists have a lot of work to do because when we get our education, it is very generalized. And so when it comes to sexuality and when it comes to diversity training, we actually don't get very much of that, maybe one or two classes. And so while I got the base from the program that I did, I actually had to go out and do more research and continue my schooling. And so as a doctorate student and as an individual who went out and got certifications and things of that nature, I would say really the certifications and the extra trainings and the experience I got just from working with other women is what got me to where I am today. And so continuing education is what supports my platform. It is making sure that I go out and seek trainings on sexuality, on diversity and equity, on, how oppression affects multiple identities. I would say that's what supports my platform.
Okay, that's great. And do you feel like there has been any growth ever since you started your own research?
Absolutely, absolutely. Growth for myself or for the field in general.
Let's do both.
Let's do okay. So growth for me, yes, because of course I don't know everything, right? If we're talking about Black women not being a monolith, I still have to go out and talk to other Black women. I have to conduct the research. And so with that, I'm learning so much more about the varying experiences that we as Black women have. And I'm also taking that in and using that to make sure that I'm not being judgmental or biased and that I am not taking my own experience and applying that to everybody because that's not going to fit. And in the field, of course, we are seeing more Black women who are entering the sexuality field or entering the therapy field. And because of that by itself, we're seeing expanded research and expanded opinions and just facts that are popping up.
Amazing. Well, it looks like everything is going in the right direction. And now that we
Mm-hmm.
know all of that, I'd like to explore how all of this comes to life in your own platform. So we're going to head to the last segment of the podcast, which is Voices in Action. And it's all about the real world impact that you are making as an amazing queen. So could
Thank
you
you.
tell me a bit more about the projects, actions, and roles that you have taken on so far?
Absolutely. So I had the pleasure of hosting and facilitating my first workshop underneath this title, and it was called Reclaiming Desire, a radical healing space for fat bodies. It happened on September 20th, so not too long ago. And my goodness, it was an amazing experience. We had three amazing speakers and then four including myself. We had little breakout sessions, we had food, we had community, and it was so amazing seeing not just Black women, but women in general come together in that space as small or bigger women, however they decided to, name themselves, come together and really talk about the history of fat phobia and racism and how it impacts everybody today and what we can start doing to reclaim our desire, reclaim our joy, and our just confidence and worth. It was an amazing experience, and I cannot wait to have it again, hopefully sometime in the spring.
Ooh, I would love that. I saw it over on your Instagram and I got so
Hmm.
excited for you. And I was also like, oh, why am I not there? Because I would love to join something like that. It looks
That's why I
amazing.
have to do it virtual next time. That's why, because so many people could not join, so I need to make it accessible.
Okay, well, we'll see it in the spring.
Yes, we will.
And have you collaborated with any others or maybe any communities or specific organizations that you would like to talk about?
Hmm. So I guess I'll go ahead and announce it on here. I
Ooh.
am going to be putting together a foundation. I'm
Mm.
not going to tell you guys too much about it, but it will be up and running in the spring. And my goal here is to go ahead and start collaborating with more community-based foundations, community-based leaders to go ahead and have more initiatives, more workshops, more panels, more talks about, size inclusivity, about how racism is impacting what we do in our city as well, and just how we can start bringing more community together. And so I have a couple of people who I'm considering for my board of directors. I have a couple of foundations who I'm going to be reaching out to for grant funding and to collaborate with. And so you guys will hear more in the spring.
Ooh, I love that we have a little exclusive here. That's amazing. And I'm so excited for you. I look forward to seeing more of this. And
Thank
I
you.
I am very excited to hear about this. Oh, it sounds so cool.
Thank you. I hope it goes well. You know what? It will go well. And so
Mhm.
it'll just be a stay tuned type of moment.
Yes, for sure. Let's do some positive manifestation here because I'm pretty
Exactly.
sure everything will go right as it should.
Thank you.
Let's see, now that we know that you are doing something new as well, could you tell me a bit more about the challenges that you have faced throughout this journey?
Oh, goodness. I would say the biggest challenge is probably being taken seriously because I am talking about something that's very taboo. I'm not just talking about racism. I'm not just talking about fat phobia. I'm talking about racism, fat phobia, and sexuality. And the sexuality piece is the piece that makes everybody clutch their pearls. They're like, what are we talking about this out loud for? And so, because of that, people typically will just not pay attention at all. Or if they do, they're very hesitant and they have a lot of what we would call like red tape around what I can do. And so it's been really challenging to get people to open up and understand that we can talk about all of these things in a very appropriate manner, even to the point where we can have teens come in too and listen to this information and learn as well. But
Mhm.
it's just going to take time.
Yeah. Okay. I love that because the first time I heard about your platform, I was also like, "Ooh, sexuality. That's something we don't usually talk about
Mm-hmm.
in general."
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel like it's something that we should talk about more because it's a very natural thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, thank you for shining some light on that.
Thank
Have you
you.
had any moments in this whole process where you were like, "Yes, it's confirmed. This is why I am put on this earth."
Oh my goodness. I would say it's being able to watch all of you all, all of my pageant sisters kind of grow and have their own initiatives and see that no, with this pageant system, we are really making moves. And
Mhm.
that for me solidified that I can do this, that my pageant sisters can do this because we're seeing it in action. We're seeing our past queens go ahead and be change makers. And I think having the evidence that this works is really important to me. So that's really what solidified it for me.
Amazing. Oh, I love that we have been able to share that with each other because it's also very inspiring for me to see the other
Hmm.
MVP girls. And that's why I wanted to talk to all of you on my podcast as well, because you're all individually like so inspiring and everyone is working on something different that's special to them. So I fully
Exactly.
feel that as well. Yeah, for sure. Let's see. I already answered that. Okay, so what are your biggest hopes and dreams for your platform?
Oh my goodness. Biggest hopes and dreams. I would love to, of course, get the foundation that I'm starting up and running. And I would love to be able to raise enough money
Mhm.
to either send other women to pageant systems if they would like to do that, send them off to school, or really whatever avenue they would like to go on. I would love to be able to be a part of them being able to access those avenues for them. So that's one of my really big goals, as well as to help with economic growth here in Martinsville, Virginia. We are a very, very small little city, but we used to be very powerful. Before my time, before you and I were born, we were a very powerful city,
Yeah.
and we have since declined,
Mm.
like severely declined. And so I would love to be able to pour back into this city with these initiatives, with this fundraising, to be able to see the city as a whole grow and be more modern, be more accepting, be more diverse.
I love those goals. And if we would say, like, in 10 years, you have your own foundation, you are rich, everyone has accepted everything that you are fighting for, what is one specific thing that you hope society takes away from your goals towards the views about desirability?
Oh my goodness. I would say to
Mm.
be open minded and to listen to the experiences of people who are different than you and
Mhm.
really take that in and use that to analyze and look at your day, look at the things that you've been through or you will go through in a way that is more inclusive, because when we do that, we are able to have more empathy and we're able to meet more goals in a way that is going to be equitable to all the people we are around.
Yes, I fully agree. And I indeed hope that in 10 years, this is how the world will be.
Or listen, all we can do is hope and continue doing what we're doing.
Amen to that. Okay, so now that we have covered all of that, we're going to move on to the mini peace mission. And for everyone who is new, the mini peace mission is where our speaker will give the listeners a little tip, a little activity that they can try this week that touches upon what they are fighting for. So, could you tell me what your mini peace mission is, Nigeria?
Yes, absolutely. So I do in therapy with my clients what's called the mirror activity. And the mirror activity is where you quite literally stand in front of a mirror and you look at yourself clothed and you look at all of the different pieces of you, both physical as well as mental, and you
Mhm.
take time to appreciate and thank all of your different body parts, all of your mental processes, everything that makes you an individual. You sit in the mirror out loud and you thank each individual piece. So, for example, I would thank my smile for always helping me to be happy and to be presentable when I'm in interviews like this. You know, I would thank my hands for being always vibrant and very, going along with all of the words that I say to add emphasis. So, those are the things that you would do in that mirror. And you do that really for about 30 minutes, at least 2 to 3 times a day, or 2 to 3 times a week, depending on how much availability you have. The more, the better.
Mhm.
And then you will watch and see how that allows you to feel more worthy, to feel more confident, and to feel more desirable.
Ugh, I love that so much. I am definitely going to try this out myself. I always do my affirmations in front of the mirror,
Mm-hmm.
and I like this little touch to it. So I'm definitely going to try that out today. And I hope that our other listeners are doing the same thing as well. That brings us to the end of the podcast. Nigeria, if we want to follow your journey, where can we find you?
Yes, so you can always follow my personal page, which is at Nigeria, which is Nijeria, or you can follow my queen page, and that's at MISSVUSA SOUTH. So Miss VUSA South 25. And so
Love
either one of those, you'll be able to follow me.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, for sharing your sharing your voice, for being so open about everything, and to our listeners who just hopped in and are like, "No, I missed everything." Don't worry, everything will be posted on our YouTube channel and on our Spotify, so then you can still hear the whole story. And for now, I want to thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here, Nigeria. Until the next time.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.